Test, test. I need that. How many boxes? Oh. Need to sign in first. Sign in the chat. I wonder if I can see it. See if it pops up here. Right. Hello, hello, everybody. Just getting scenario 2 set up for Dungeon Legends. So if you have any questions while I'm getting things ready, feel free to ask. I'll make sure the mic sounds good. I did turn the volume up a little bit because I noticed it was pretty quiet in previous videos. So if it is too loud, please let me know. Oh, if the chat is populating. Scenario 2. Don't see it. They were live. Okay. These are the starter creatures. Hmm. See it now. Interesting. I didn't do anything there. Okay, cool. I have the chat in front of me now. So here, I'll show you. I got that there now. So I can actually see what, you know, everyone else is seeing in real time. And I can actually read chat. So I can see chat from there as well. Pretty sweet. Yeah, I didn't do anything, so it just must have took a minute for it to catch up. Little guys, ready? Does the mic sound... I did turn it up. I'm hoping it's not too loud, but better than what it was before. Because it was, you had to have it like max volume to really be able to hear it. It is hitting the yellow a little bit. So it's kind of, oh, hey, thank you, Anthony, for the subscription. Much appreciated. Hope you're having a good night. I do have it almost maxed out. Oof. So I'm hitting yellow on Streamlabs and I'm scared to go much higher. Can turn it up a little bit. Test, test, test. You can also thinking about lowering this guy a little bit. Yeah, that's good. Okay, cool. Thank you. Just doing this on the fly. Don't worry about it. Very close to me, but it should hopefully make it a lot easier to kind of read what's going on down here. Okay. And I do believe between scenarios, you get to keep one of the treasure cards that you had, that you acquired. So we want draw cards. We did have the heal. The bomb also is very good. I think we're just gonna keep the bomb. We'll shuffle this up a little bit. And I really want that that like cross table set of bars that you found that holds like cameras and lights and everything. I wish there was one that was long enough for this table, because that would be so awesome. I feel like this is... I'm definitely gonna hit this with my head. I need like an airdrop. Something from the ceiling, I think. Okay, so that is empty. And hopefully we remember most of the rules here, so it's not too much downtime. I should have kept my cards mixed as well, so I'm gonna have to pick cards to form a 10 card deck again. Let's see. Ooh, double draw into triple spirit and then a heal at the end. That's pretty good. So welcome to our solo playthrough. Oh, there, and then I also have the chat on the screen. I don't know how well that shows up on the phone, but you should be able to actually see it on there as well. I'll have to probably adjust and move it around depending on like what game we're playing, if it's covering stuff up. But I thought that would be nice. Lots of attack. This is very powerful. I ended up not really using mine. Looks good for now. Okay, cool. Yeah, this game's not a huge table hog, so it's not too bad. Okay, so that's good. And we got a lot of our standard stuff over here. This game? Let's get these traps out. Yeah. Yeah, I also found out and realized that we had the wrong... I'm guessing when I grabbed the mic and I moved it, I may have switched the mic pickup, like whether it's omnidirectional, bidirectional, all that good stuff, because it was set to pull from the sides and I had the mic right in the middle. Like I don't know, I think it had to be like actually in between us versus like a little bit pushed up, and I think that may have been why there were some instances of our voices cutting out. But it might be easier when we have two people to just do the Bluetooth mics on our like magnet mics to stick to our shirt. The mic quality on those is still very good, but until we have like a space where like I can have two of the really nice mics in front of each of us, which I think is like most ideal if we're trying to go for really high quality, that other one will do. All right, so we got a little health tokens. I'll just leave that for now. Starting, guys. We're gonna set up scenario number 2. So if this one has like a multiple difficulty scaling option, I'm probably gonna go for the harder difficulty because I felt like normal was very easy in the first one at least. But the different scenarios do go up in difficulty as well. So I think scenario 2 is also 2 out of 5 difficulty. So that one will probably be relatively the same. Okay, what we got going on here? Moons are an integral part of the world of Abel. They wander continually across the sky, heralding times of abundance and disaster. People who know how to interpret their movement can discover forgotten truths and even predict the future. In the dungeons, you find a dusty device for observing the sky. Ancient symbols were hidden under the dust, and the magic that once filled them has dissipated. You must activate the machine and then use its telescope to locate all the important moons in the firmament. If you do this, you will discover secret paths to the deepest underworld, but monsters, as if reading your minds, continually attack. At the same time, an elusive figure lurks in the shadows, trying to thwart your plans. And finally, from the darkness between the stars arrives a creature hungry for magic. All right. Sounds like we're gonna have a lot of different things trying to get in our way as we try to get to this telescope. So we're gonna take the components from the box for chapter 2, Lunar Conjunction, shuffle the 6 location cards and randomly place them face up in the 6 location card spaces, and add the 10 chapter 2 cards to the 20 base U cards on the mat. Shuffle these cards and place them face down on the mat. Okay. So let's see, here's like a little sneak preview of the pieces that come with chapter 2. We have these tiles. I wonder if these are like intended to be moons. Some of them. Ooh, that looks like a broken telescope. That's kind of cool. I don't know when these come out. Usually the cards, as you draw them, indicate when they're going to be pulled out and where they're going to go. But yeah, it looks like we have like a lot of these circle tiles, which are exclusive to chapter 2. So I'm sure these tiles will get spread out across the board and activate for all sorts of different reasons. I got more. Ooh, these look like portals. So we might have portals on the map that let us maybe shortcut back and forth. Guys upside down. All right, so we got our location cards, which are these like cards with like doors on the back of them. And then additional monsters and events. So those will get shuffled into that. We're going to give the locations a little shuffle here. And then once these are shuffled, we place these randomly out. This is another one of those parts where I feel like I got very lucky in scenario 1. And having this mouse here is so nice. Oops, that is not what I wanted to do. That was cool though. We got a sub. A sub earlier. So once again, thank you very much, Anthony. Appreciate you. Astronomer. Master of Traps again. Ooh, star map. Fairy Sanctuary. The Observatory. And Focusing Lens. Yay. I think right before the stream he also followed us on Instagram. So yeah, that was awesome. Mind me ducking the camera? I need those cup holders. Okay. Couple these 6 magic stone tokens and place them face down in a pool beside the map. Okay, so that's going to be these guys. Take 2 random fairy tokens from the pool beside the mat and then place them face up on the Fairy Sanctuary location card. So I will do that. Keep these here for now. I'm gonna, now that I can actually see the camera live, which is fantastic, I'm going to try my best to make sure that everything is visible as much as possible. So we're just gonna make kind of a little chaotic mess here with the fairies. This is my version of shuffling. Okay, and we're gonna do them face up. The Fairy Sanctuary. Ooh, these are so cool. I love the art on the fairy cards. Okay. I did that. Place the 3 portal standees beside the mat. So this is indeed portals. We're correct. Yeah, so it's a little bit of a deck builder. It doesn't get super crazy. Like maybe like a Hogwarts Battler or Dominion. Like it's you don't build like super intricate decks. You do get some cards that'll give you some card draw. You'll get some cards that, you know, pretty much attack, move, gain spirit. Like a lot of the randomness or like player power comes from like fairies, or a lot of the actions you take on the cards. So the deck building pretty much is like you defeat a monster or complete an objective and it lets you take a loot card. And the loot cards are pretty much just very powerful versions. Oh, good call, babe. But yeah, I would say it's a light. It's a deck builder light. I think advertising this, like if I were to advertise this to somebody, I would not say, you know, deck builder enthusiasts should definitely play this game. I think the emphasis is the objectives and the little puzzles you're trying to solve. And as you're completing objectives and as you're defeating monsters on the board, you do get a little bit of a choice of these really powerful loot cards that you get to add to your deck that just make your turns a little bit more efficient. But yeah, you never get too crazy with it. So it's kind of like it's an aspect of the game, but it's not the core feature, if that makes sense. Okay. All right. So you are ready to play Chapter 2. Oh, and then there's a sabotage is the broken telescope. Your goal is to observe all 6 moons in the sky. Wow, I called it. Quickly finding the 6 moon cards is important in this chapter. The astronomer location is useful for this. If a moon card moves from the space where you can observe it, you can use the star map location to reposition that moon further or farther back. Okay. The moon cards will appear and occupy spaces in the monster passage like monster cards. Moons will move towards the castle like monsters, but they are satellites moving through the sky, so a moon passes over a trap token without activating the trap. Okay. This also breaks down the different locations. So I do know we shuffle the starter creatures and we pull one of those out. I believe that is in the base rulebook, so I'm just going to confirm that. Bum, bum, bum. Hope everyone's having a good night. And feel free to ask any questions or correct me if I make any mistakes, if anyone's played this before, or if you're just kind of watching to get an idea of what the game plays like. And if you ever want to hear my thoughts, you know, I'm always open to share. Okay. Here we go. Number 3, that's what I want to check. Shuffle the starting monster cards and draw as many cards as there are players. Then place them face up on an empty spaces, 1 per space, starting on the closest empty space to the castle. Okay. And the way solo works in this game is you use 2 player boards of your chosen heroes, tracking each hero's toughness, dust, skills, and fairy separately. And then you play with those 2 heroes on the mat. Each turn you can spend cards and do actions for the first hero or the second hero, or both as you like. If you gain advanced item cards, add it to your deck as usual. And at the end of each turn, draw only 1 card from the game deck as usual. So, when setting up the game, choose 2 heroes and their 2 bases. Choose 10 cards from the 20 available. Yeah, so this is where you are still playing 2 characters, so you are going to be... It's kind of interesting. You play 2 characters, but you are going to be one-handing both of them, so you're only going to have a single deck of cards. And you get to kind of mix and match who you're going to be activating for the different card actions that you're going to be playing. Now, what's interesting is when it talks about the amount of players for the starting cards, I wonder if I would put 2 out, since technically I'm playing 2 characters. But the way it words it is it says the amount of players, not the amount of characters. That's one of those things where, like, I'd probably want some clarification just to make sure. Draw as many cards as there are players. Yeah, so it says players. Okay. We're gonna go with players. And they're gonna start on the furthest right location. And these guys only move further to the right if a monster ends up moving closer behind them and would need to move into the space that they are occupying, and it would shove them forward. So those are gone. And then we can look at the different locations we have. So we have Astronomer. You can spend 4, and I feel like I said Spirit the entire time last time, and it wasn't Spirit. Oh. Dust. Yes, it's dust. I need to remind myself. So for Astronomer, you can play, or you can spend 4 dust. Let's see. Spend 4 dust to reveal the top 2 cards of the game deck. Return each in either order to the bottom or top of the deck, but the Magic Eater must go to the top. So I'm guessing that is one of the cards that can come out for Chapter 2. So yeah, that lets me look at the top 2 cards of that deck, and then I can kind of adjust and manipulate what's going to be coming out. Master of Traps, spend 2 to 5 dust to put the trap with that strength onto an empty trap space. So we have 2 empty trap spaces here. That traps allow us that if minions ever get pushed over where a trap is located, they will take that much damage. So depending on how much dust I spend on the trap will determine the strength of that trap. And then we have Star Map for 4 dust. Spend 4 dust to do 1 action in the monster passage. Swap 2 cards or move 1 card to an empty space. Okay, so that lets us manipulate where they're located on the top of the board, which sounds very, very powerful. Let me go ahead and get my deck put together here. Pop off, pop off. Oh, heck yeah, that's awesome. Hey, the fact that people are cycling in is that's great. Fantastic. So we have 1 movement. Movement and a shield. I feel like this guy is really good with shields. Gonna keep these 2 for now. Cards are kind of redundant. So that gives us a dust or a sword, movement or a shield, heal or a movement. And then, oh yeah, ranged attack for sure. Let's see how much we got here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8. Shield or a dust. Probably movement or dust. Both very good. Keep both these guys nearby. And then we got our nice little dice there. We're gonna shuffle our starting deck. It also said draw 1 card. Was I doing that last time? Sounds... a little sussy. Okay, so each turn you can spend cards and do actions for the first hero or the second, or both, as you like. At the end of each turn, draw only 1 card from the game deck. Oh, okay, so it's from over there. I was thinking for me, I only draw 1 card. I was like, wow, that... if I did that incorrectly, this game's entirely, like, way more difficult than I thought. Let's see. You can play any number of the cards in your hand. At the end of your turn, place all unplayed and played cards in the discard pile. Then reveal the top card of the game deck and resolve. Afterwards, you will draw your 5 new cards. Okay, that's what I thought. That makes a lot more sense. So yes, we do draw 5 every time. Okay, let's continue on here. So Star Map lets us relocate things. Fairy Sanctuary. During setup, put 2 random fairies here. I can spend 3 dust to get a fairy, or I can spend 3 dust to take 2 cards from my deck. That's actually really good. I don't know if I used that very much last time. We also do have our upgrade tracks that I picked here, so I'll kind of just show those a little bit. For him, I have the first pip slot here, I get 2 dust. Second one, I get triple movement. And then the last one, I get 2 ranged attacks with a range of 1 to 5. Pretty much means I can hit anything on the board. And then these 2 characters are going to go on here. I think they go there. We'll double check. For the caster here, my first slot is draw 2. Second one is 3 dust, and the last one is a heal. At any point, I can also discard 3 cards on a turn to do any one of the actions. A singular one time. So 1 movement, 1 attack, 1 shield, 1 dust. So if I ever draw like a really bad hand or I can't really use those actions, it's kind of like a, oh crap, I want to at least do something kind of thing. Okay. Let's see. And what else? What else? Oh, yeah, I wanted to see the starting location just to make sure. Bum, 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 bum. Game setup. Number 8. Choose the first player. This should be the person who most recently played. Yep. First player puts their hero standee on space number 6 of the hero path. In clockwise order, the following players put their hero standees on 5, 4, 3. Okay. So 6 and 5, 4, 3. There we go. We got our skill track. We got our board. We got our components. Fairy tokens are all situated. I think we're good. So the enemy is always going to go. We're going to draw 1 card after each of my turns. Okay. Yep. Okay. I think we're good. I think everything else is pretty simple. Okay. Last 2 locations that we have here. The observatory allows you to observe a moon. If you fulfill its conditions and pay its cost, take 1 fairy. So how does the observing of the moon work? Does the moon have to be directly in front of the observatory? Let's see. Okay. This card lets you observe the moon through a telescope. A hero can use this location's action to fulfill the moon's requirement. As a reward, the hero takes a fairy from the fairy market, then puts a new random fairy from the pool into the market. After observing a moon, remove it from the mat and put it in the pile of observed moons near the mat. Okay, she decides to observe the moon. Okay, so there's going to be cards with moons that we're observing, which then let us get one of those tiles, it seems. She's on a hero. Okay. She spends 1 dust and plays a card with the shield symbol to observe Kuradar. She then removes the moon from the monster passage and puts it on the pile of observed moons. Okay. You must meet 2 conditions. The moon card must be in the indicated space numbered 1 through 6 in the monster passage. And you must use the indicated icons and heroes to position the telescope in the observatory location. Huh. To observe a moon, you must meet 2 conditions. The moon card must be in its indicated space. Oh, so the moon's going to have a number on it. And it has to be in that indicated space. And then you must use the indicated icons and heroes to position the telescope. I see. Okay. So the moons are going to have numbers on them, and we have zones 1 through 6. And if the moon has zone 2, for example, it has to be in this position in order for me to observe it successfully. And the whole point of this mission is to observe all 6 moons. So that's where the star map comes in handy. If it is ever, say, in number 5 and it needs to be a number 2, I can spend dust there to swap locations with the other monsters, or move it to an empty slot if it's empty, which then allows in a subsequent turn to use the observatory. And then the last thing we have for locations is focusing lens. And that just looks like you roll a d6 and you get different rewards. Either 1 is a heal, or actually it looks like 1 hurts you. I think you lose a health. And then the other ones give you dust. Ooh, there's so many things that come up. A magic eater can spawn. Cool. Oh, so those are Magic Storm tokens. Aaron, before you draw a card from the game deck, reveal all Magic Storms. Oh, that gets a little crazy. Okay. Interesting. So the Magic Eater is going to eat up our dust, and we're going to have to hit him to get our dust back. That's cool. Yeah, this is, I mean, this is very, very different from the first scenario already. Yeah, you lose 1 toughness if you fail on the focusing lens, if you roll 1. Yeah. All right, I think we are ready to start chapter 2. Take a swig of this. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask. It looks like, wow, that fairy gives you a 4 heal. You can use it on yourself or an ally. That one lets you not draw a card. Is that like a skip enemy turn card? Get started here. Hope work's going good for you, babe. Got a good shuffle in there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I think we'll put our deck over here. Kind of have our fairies scattered a little bit. The other thing I was going to check. Oh yeah, I wanted to shuffle this a little bit more. Just because we add a lot. Work is working. I mean, I guess that's better than work being broken. Take our wins. So as of right now, we have the Knight of Darkness that's out. He has 2 chomp marks. And can't complain. The chomp marks. See? I know there's a little, there it is. This monster does 1 damage to a hero who attacks it by sword. Okay, that's what that one was. Keep that out, because I'm sure we'll need it as we are remembering these. So when we hit that guy, he's going to attack back for 2 if you hit him with a sword. If we defeat him, we get a dust and we get to draw a card. That is very good. All right. So, what do we got here? We do have 2 shields. We do have a ranged attack as well. And a double sword. Yeah. So we're going to start with double sword, double shield. We're going to use these 2 guys for shields. And if you ever want to see these, just ask and I can show those. So yeah, we're going to hit him for 2. And he's going to hit back for 2. You know what? Actually, we're going to hit for 3. So we're just going to do it all at once. He hits back for 2. I'm going to use these 2 cards to block. And then I'm going to use my ranged attack on my caster, who is 1 space away. And I'm going to hit him for the last bit of damage. And because it was ranged, he does not attack back. So this guy is going to perish. And that is going to allow us to get a dust and draw a card. We'll draw a card here. And she did get the killing blow, so she's going to get the dust. And that gives us a movement. Never hers. Those ones aren't hollow. No, so the base cards, like your starter cards from your character's deck, are not hollow. It's just the loot cards that you acquire as your defeating monsters and whatnot. Yeah, you know what's so funny? I have no idea what this does. But oh, I see what. Never mind. So in the chat, I turned on timestamps, so it actually tells you when people said things as well, which I think is cool. But yeah, I 100% agree. Yeah, I think that's a good idea. Timestamps are the greatest fucking thing in the world. Like, anytime any video has timestamps, I'm immediately happy. Okay. Yeah, if you want, yeah, I can do like the kind of like the intro or like explaining the chapter, and then like you said, when the game starts. Okay. So icons on fairy cards. So the fairy card that I immediately get for free as the Sork uses the effect of one played card twice. Oh, okay. Oh my gosh. I never added the card that I chose to keep from scenario 1. I was supposed to add it to my deck. Never did that. I left it out after I was yapping. Whoopsie. So we did get a movement and a heal. We don't need the heal. So we're going to go ahead and probably move one of our characters. So we have no moons out right now. I'm just going to move my Sork over and start making my way, because we're going to start getting monsters flooding out. And it does put us in a position to possibly acquire a fairy if seems useful. So there is our discard pile. Okay. And then we go ahead and draw a monster card. Oh, you know what? We could... We're going to do that. So before we finish our turn, he is at activating these locations is free unless it has a cost on the actual card, and you can only activate them once per character. So I'm going to do the focusing lens on my soldier character. I don't know if these characters have names, but yeah, soldier guy. And we rolled a 2, so he gets 2 dust. That's actually really, really, really good. Fortunately, a lot of these cards are spread out. All right, so the first thing that we have come out is a Dark Dust. So I guess I'll go off some of the monster cards and whatnot, because they look really, really cool. All right, so the Dark Dust is out. He bites back for 1. If you hit him with a sword, he has 4 health, and if we defeat him, we get 2 dust. That's fantastic. We are very far away. I should have... I believe I draw 5 after the monster card is activated. Okay. So we did get our new shiny card here, which has a lot of attack. Don't really have much to use it on as of right now. We could acquire a dust and then get a fairy. Or take 2 cards from my deck, so it'd allow me to draw 2 more cards. Which is funny because that fairy does the same thing. And we don't really have a reason to go to the star map yet. So, yeah, we're going to go ahead and acquire a 3rd dust. We will be using this movement here in a second. So now that we have 3 dust, we're going to go ahead and use the Fairy Sanctuary. And I think... yeah, we're not really like rushing per se. We could get to him. We have enough movement to do a lot of range damage here. Ooh, this is interesting. So this was a question I had the last time I played. So on this card, you can see the bows have arrows and they're pointing in specific directions. So this is like a ranged attack to the left, a sword, and then a ranged attack to the right. And I wasn't sure if that was indicating that you can only attack to the left with that one range attack and only to the right with the other. Or I didn't really know what the point of that was, but this fairy has the range attack symbol, but then arrows pointing both left and right. So it is an indication that we can only attack in the direction that the arrow is pointing. So those cards are not as good as I thought. Still very powerful, but I believe I was playing that incorrectly last time. So that fairy is actually very, very good. We're going to go ahead and spend our 3 dust, fire that fairy. Sorcerer is really awesome in the fact that she can have 3 fairies at a time, while this guy can only have 1. So her specialty is kind of like having a lot of different fairies on her side. This fairy is going to come out to fill that slot. Okay. So we're going to start with 2 movement here. 1, 2. So now we are 1 spot away from the Dark Dust. And we're going to do our fancy card here just to do 1 range attack to the left. He cannot hit us back with that. And then our last card. I think we're gonna roll again. No, he only wants 1 more dust, so it's kind of useless. The last one we're gonna use the movement, and I want to get him closer because right now he's kind of doing nothing. So let's spend that movement to get our other guy a little bit closer to us, and that's gonna be the end of our turn. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's go ahead and draw our new monster. So now we have a Phantom. Phantom has 4 health. He is also going to attack back if you hit him with a sword. If we defeat him, we get to draw a fairy from the fairy market. And then he also has this little sword bending icon. And I believe that means he deflects. Yes, so he will cancel 1 damage when a hero attacks it by sword. So because he comes out, he's going to shift the other monster down 1. Let's see what we got here. We do have another range attack. So we're going to go ahead, range attack the Phantom. Then I'm going to double sword the Dark Dust. Unfortunately, we are 1 shy. We are 1 damage shy. I feel like this one's definitely... Oh no, we do have another sword. I'm sorry. So we're actually going to triple sword here. So that will do 3 damage, and that is going to finish him off since he has no defenses. And that's going to give us 2 dust. We're going to activate 2 dust on this character. And now we have a choice. So he does hit back. So I can take the damage and then just heal. Or I could block the damage and then have a movement freed up. So it's kind of a choice. I can block move or heal dust and get another dust added. Is there a benefit to me moving right now? I think that is the main question. Or should I just go for the dust? I think we just go for the dust for now. And we do have this double range fairy, so we could hit the Phantom twice if we wanted to. But I think we'll hold off. So we're going to get hit, we're going to heal it, and then we're going to dust. So that is the end of that turn. That's pretty quick. All right, we got our first event already. Magic Storm. Put a random magic stone Magic Storm token face down on each location. Okay. I don't know what that's about. Okay, so that immediately gets discarded since it triggered. And now the question is it when we're at the location and we use it that we flip those over? Let's see. So 1 on each of the 6 locations. When you use a location with a Magic Stone token, move that token onto the game deck. At the end of your turn, before you draw a card from the game deck, first reveal all Magic Storm tokens on the deck and resolve them, then draw a card as usual. Interesting. Interesting. So we can still use the effects on the locations, but it's going to then trigger this to go on top of this deck, and we have to reveal and do what that says before we actually get to see whatever comes out afterwards. So yeah, I have no idea if it's good or bad, but it did come out. So that was the card that came out that turn, so it is my turn again. One, two, three, 5. And he doesn't move, which is great, because that allows me to use a ranged attack here. So we're going to use our fancy ranged attack again, and then we're going to use our fairy, which allows us to do 2 range attacks in either direction, which is great. Range of 1. All of these are range of 1. So I wonder if I'm guessing we go through all of the available fairies before we add ones that are used into that pile. So I will leave that face up over there. Yeah. And then, so that did 3 damage. So he is dead and does not block or hit back because I use ranged. That lets us acquire a fairy from the market, which is awesome. I feel like I need a light behind me, maybe. I could have these 2 pointing kind of like diagonal outwards and then 1 pointing at me. I think we'll have to fiddle around with that. But yeah, let's see. So we're going to go ahead and acquire a fairy since we did go ahead and defeat that guy. I don't know what that tornado symbol means. Icons on fairies. Teleport to any space and use 1 location twice in any order. And you can do that in any order. Whoa. That's really good. I think we're just going to go for that. We're not even going to look at the other ones. New fairy comes out. All right. So we still don't have any moons out yet. So let's go ahead and use that to get another dust. Then we're going to use a movement, and I'm going to spend 4 dust on this location, which is going to let me look at the top 2 cards of the game deck, and then I can put them back in either order to the bottom or the top of the deck, but the Magic Eater must go top. So we got another monster coming out, and we got threat. Roll the die and place a threat token next to the indicated space. Well, we don't care for that. So I'm actually going to put both of these on the bottom because we want moons to come out. And this is going to go on top of the deck now since we used that location. All right, we got 2 more cards left. Nothing to attack, nothing to shield. We could move, so I think we're just going to go ahead and move down for now. The end of my turn. 1 card. All right, so now we're going to flip this guy over. And I believe this token means 1 and 6 in terms of the location are going to swap. We'll verify that really quick. Okay, swap location cards on the indicated spaces. Yep. Oh, location cards. 2 and 4, 1 and 6. If a location card has any tokens, move those tokens with the card. Whoa, I thought it was going to be the monsters. So that will go there. So 1 and 6. Oh, geez. So now our reveal is all the way on the other end of the board. Oh, God. Okay. And then we're going to go ahead and draw this. Threat. Oh, another one. Place 2 threat tokens. 1 each on 2 different random spaces of the monster passage. So we roll the die for those. Keith. This guy. I believe this is how you get rid of threat tokens. You have to go all the way to the right. Okay. So we're going to do the teeth first. It's going to space 4. And then the damage reflection is going to go to space 2. Not super great. Got our 5 cards. All right, so we still have no monsters to engage with here. I am going to interact with the focusing lens since it's here. I'm going to roll the die. Hopefully I get a 6. Got a 5, so I get 3 dust. That is pretty good. All right. And she can teleport and activate a location twice, which is pretty sweet. That also gets discarded. Lots of movement, not much to do. So we will use that to get a dust. And that's the only card that's really useful. So I think we'll get 4 dust here. We are going to do triple movement. 1, 2, 3. And I really do not like that threat token that reduces damage. So I'm going to spend 3 to get rid of the threat token. Just try to get ahead of that a little bit. And all we have left is a sword and shield, which we can't do anything with. So that is the end of our turn. Go ahead and flip this guy over. What in the heck? Do we just get 6 dust amongst our team? If so, heck yeah. Not going to complain about that one. All right, regain all dust on all player boards. Oh. Well, I'm glad I just spent 3 getting rid of that threat token. That is awesome. All right, so now we got a Bloodsucker. He will retaliate for 2 if you hit with a sword, and if you beat him, you get to get a loot card. That's fun. 3, 4, 5. So we do have our ranged. We could do a triple sword attack and block 1 damage and heal 1. Yeah, so let's do that. We're gonna do our triple sword here, which will kill him, and that lets us get a loot card, and that goes on top of our deck, I believe. Ooh, so we can either go with a 1 to 3 ranged attack, or 2 ranged attacks with a range of 1 to 3, which is very, very good for just hitting things across the board. And then this gives you the option of movement, shield, or sword. And if you pay a dust, sword movement, sword shield, movement shield. So also very good. I just like having range attacks because they negate so many effects in this game, and it gives you the ability to not be pigeonholed to one position if you're trying to kill things as they come out. So I believe we're gonna go ahead and choose that one. You get new loot to come out, which is a battle axe that does a lot of sword damage. And we're gonna shield the first hit back that he did. We're gonna lose a health because he retaliated for 2, but then we're gonna heal that health back. And we have a range attack left with nothing to use it on. I think we're gonna spend 3 again on our soldier and get rid of the other threat token. Let's just get ahead of it. I think that's the move. So we're gonna go ahead and flip this guy over. We got a cave troll, 4 damage. He is going to retaliate for 1, and if we beat him, we can either choose 2 fairies or a loot card. That's very good. Okay, we drew 2. That's what was left. Go ahead and shuffle our deck so we can draw 3 more. Okay. All right. So we got our ranged weapon. Lots of movement. Interesting. So we will move 1. Go here. And we'll spend a dust so we can double attack him from ranged. And then we're going to use our starter fairy here, which lets us do a action card twice. That way we can double up on our ranged and hit him 4 times and just knock him out immediately. So we can get 2 fairy tokens. Or we can get a loot card. Do we just double down on the loot cards? This one lets us roll the die, which is always fun. Instead of rolling the die, oh no, actually it does the opposite. Instead of rolling the die, choose the result. That's what that fairy does. So you just get to guarantee whatever you want. That's very powerful. And then the second one there. At the end of the turn, that you use this fairy, do not draw a card from the game deck. So it is a skip turn, but we want cards to get drawn. We need moons. So that's kind of terrible right now. Yeah, I think we just go with the loot card then. Crazy damage or crazy options? A lot of flexibility. I think we go with the flexibility. And I do want to double check. I do believe those go on the top of the deck right away. But I have played a lot of games recently, so I might just be mixing it up with a different game. But I'm going to verify it really fast here. Oh, that's... want the rule book for that. Number 9, shuffle the deck, draw the top 3. Okay. I guess the cards, yeah, from the monsters should indicate that. After defeating, take 1 advanced item card from the market and put it face down on top of your deck. So you will draw it next. Okay. Yes, wanted to make sure. So, yep. We're going to go ahead and acquire loot. And we still have 3 cards left. Nothing to do there. Draw more. Yeah, I think we move. We interact with the star map. Oh, no. We don't want star map. I apologize. We want to do, yeah, astronomer. is the one that gives us that power that we're looking for here. So maybe move that one back, move him over to the Astronomer with that movement. And then we're going to acquire a dust on him because he's currently short. And we have another movement. Do we want to use that? Everyone's healthy. Nope, I think we just chill with that for now. So we got a Phantom. 3 health. Blocks 1 sword damage, retaliates on sword attacks, and gives you a loot card if he is defeated. All right, bump that. Ooh, we got 2 shiny cards here. So we could go with ranged. Another ranged. Lots of swords. Game's really trying to tell us something. It's kind of silly because we have to... Guess we could move first. But then we just have all these swords and not much to do. All right, so I think we're going to do 2 range attacks on him, so he gets hit for that. And a lot of swords. Yeah. So we will spend 1 dust, and then we're going to move attack. Actually, we'll just move shield, and then we'll double attack with that. This card will just be wasted. So that's going to hit his deflection, then hit him for his 3rd bit of health, and then the move shield will block the damage we would take. So he is dead. And that lets us get a item card. And we're going to add the ring to our deck, which lets us either draw 1 card or draw 2 cards for 1 dust. So we got some card draw. Another battle axe comes out. That last card is wasted, which is fine. So we got this. This is kind of that light deck builder aspect I was referring to. Oh, and then last thing I wanted to do before I finish doing that is I'm going to roll the die. Whoa. I'm going to roll the die for the focusing lens and see, and we lose health. Yikes. I was going to see if I could get some of that dust back. Yeah, and there was no way for me to heal that. 4. We do still have the teleport double movement, which is fantastic. Okay, draw our last card. Flip this guy over. Event. The lights are going out. Roll the die. Place the darkness token on the indicated chapter location. Its action cannot be used. Spend spirit to remove the darkness token. That's going to be going to location 4. That's going to be this one here. That's going to prevent that action from being used until I spend 3 dust to get rid of it. Okay. So that's going to be the fairy location. It's not the end of the world. Still have no moons. So he is in a spot to do that now. We're going to go ahead and use those 2 to get 2 dust on him. So he's at 4. Then we're going to spend the 4, which allows us to look at the top 2 cards of the deck. Hey, we do have a moon here. Dancing Comet. It needs to be in position 6. And it has 4 shield or helmet icons. I'm not entirely sure what that is. And the other card we have is Sabotage. Place a Sabotage token on the observatory. Its location cannot be used. Spend 5 dust to remove Sabotage. Interesting, because this character can't even get 5. I guess that's why it forces you to play with at least 2. So I'm gonna take a guess and say the other characters can have 5 dust as well. So the miner can have 6. Yep, and then okay. So that's where that is possible. Because I was like, what if you were playing with this character and maybe another one that couldn't hold 5? But he's the only one that can it's only limited to 4. So that being said, we're gonna put the moon on top. We're gonna put the sabotage on the bottom. Because F that. We should not see that this game. And oh, so we do have a movement. I think we're gonna roll the die again on our Torque here. That's tilted. It does look like it is on 1 on a tilt. So we're gonna take that damage and be sad about it. Oh, and I gotta keep remembering these things on the very top. I forget about them. Last time I like didn't use it to the very end just because I was like, oh yeah, that thing. We'll go ahead and draw a card because it's free. Shield and movement does nothing for us right now. Oh. And I could scoot him over, I guess. And then the double sword, it does absolutely nothing. I think we're going to go ahead and use our first pip here to do the double dust. We're gonna get use out of those this time. All right, so let's see what we got here. Hey, who would have thunk it? It's the dancing comet. So that has to be in location 6. That is the furthest one that we need to observe in location 6. Kind of teasing some of these other chapters by accident. Okay. To observe this moon, it must be in space 6 of the monster passage, and all heroes must be in the observatory. After observing this moon, each hero takes a ferry from the market and refills the market from the pool as a reward. Cool, so everyone has to be there when that happens. And then Star Map is the one that lets us move it. At least Observatory is a free action. But we do have to all be there in order for that to successfully complete. Okay. So, let's see. We're going to go ahead and draw our 5. And the teleport and use a location twice. That could be something. Ooh. Of course, all my movement also has a heal alternative, which I really want to do some of that. But we need the movement in order to use the star map. So we're gonna draw 2. Yep. Okay, just making sure that is what that was. We got more attack, which does nothing for us right now. Not what I was hoping for. And that was using that little pip there. Triple movement isn't helpful. Triple dust could be. Could be. All right, so we're going to double move. We're not going to heal. And that's going to put us the star map. Oof. This is like me min-maxing trying to do this in one turn, which is probably not necessary. Yeah, you know what? Nah, we're gonna heal. I think I'm trying to do it all in one turn just for the fun of it, but it's definitely not necessary. So we will get a dust with that guy. So we're at 4 on that character. We have lots and lots of attack, nothing to hit. So that's kind of a dud. But yeah, actually there's really not much else we can do. Triple dust is not necessary right now on that character. It's better to be healthy, I think. All right. Ooh, so we got the Magic Eater. Magic Eater ignores traps, which is not great. It also, when this card appears, each player puts 3 dust on this card. Excuse me? Each player. So is that 3 dust from my pool? That is very unique. Okay, this is the chapter's main enemy. After you place the Magic Eater card in the monster passage, each player must put 3 of their own dust tokens, any combination of inactive or ready to use on its card. Okay. You can regain your 3 dust tokens by attacking Magic Eater. Regain 1 dust token for each damage up to 3 you deal. When the Magic Eater has no more dust tokens, it is defeated. Remove it from the mat. Okay. So it has 6 health. And it says a mix of ready to use or not. So of course we're going to go for the not first. Oof, but when we get these back, I don't think they come back readied. That's kind of brutal. So now we can't do the star map action, which is what I was hoping to do. At least he does not attack. He doesn't deflect or he doesn't deflect and he doesn't attack back or retaliate. So that's not terrible. We just have to hit it. And the Dancing Comet has some time to kind of move over naturally. So maybe we don't even have to use Star Map. Now what could make this really messy is if we get another one of those tokens that makes location swap. That could be bad. Alright, so we got 5. Alright. When I want a lot of attack, I'm just not getting it. It's unfortunate. I do think we're going to use our fancy gauntlet here to punch it. Get a dust back for that. We'll do another sword attack there. Get another dust back. Then we're going to move over 1. Do a ranged attack. And get this character's last dust back. And then we'll use this last one as a movement for him to scoot over, because he needs to hit the guy to get his dust back. Also, I'm hitting him and immediately putting it down there. I don't think that's how that works. So we're going to use this pip to activate our second special track here to actually gain 3 dust back. I don't think it's specifically stated whether they, when you get them back, if they're readied or not, which I think is something that definitely should be clear. You can regain your 3 dust tokens by attacking the Magic Eater. Regain 1 dust token for each damage. Yeah, it doesn't say. Yeah, it doesn't say when you get the dust back if it just goes back to where it was. So that's kind of important. Like, does it just go back to the way it was when he took it? I'm gonna say it just goes back into my pool, because I feel like that might be hard to track. And then when I get them, I'm just gonna have to re-earn them. That's how I'm gonna play it, which I think is like the harder way of doing it, but it does not specify that, and I think that would be an important bit of information to know for sure. All right, so what do we got here? Panic attack. Each hero moves 1 space farther from the castle. Each hero that cannot move loses 1 toughness. So the castle is all the way on the right side. So these characters are going to move left 1. That's actually helpful to me, so I'm not mad about it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, what do we got here? We do have some spirit gain. So we're gonna do movement. So double movement to get him here, and multiple characters can be in the same spot. Oof, actually. We'll do one movement first. I am so close to being able to do enough, and that is unfortunate. I'm going to have him spend a dust to do double ranged on the Magic Eater, which gets us 2 back. He is at 1. And then I will do movement, second one there, and hit him with a sword to get that last one back, which then kills the Magic Eater. Fortunately, it doesn't give us any loot. He's kind of a piece of crap in that regard. But I do have a draw. Is there a point? I don't think so. I mean, I could get dust, actually. And I got double sword. All right. I am going to roll the dice and do the focusing lens on my soldier, because he has no dust left. Rolled a 3. You get nothing for a 3. It's only 1, 4, 5, or 6. Rip. All right. And there's no point for her to roll it because she's already full dust. So that is the end of that turn. See what we got here? Another dark dust. 4 health. You defeat him, you get a dust, and you get a loot card. Love the artwork on these. Okay. Let's go ahead. 1, 2, 3. Got 2 more cards here. Thank you everyone for joining. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. You guys are having a good night, morning, or afternoon, depending on where you are. So let's see what we got here. We got a lot of item cards this time. We have a little bit of ranged. He is going to attack back for 1. So if we can just try to dish out as much damage as humanly possible here. Let's try to draw first. So we will use 1 dust on our sword here, which allows us to draw 2 cards instead of 1. We did get another ranged attack. Double sword. We could do this. So we are going to spend 1 dust. So we got double sword and 2 ranged for the left and right, but we can't hit anything because nothing is in range of us right now. So we're just going to do the double sword, and then we're going to do the single sword on our other item cards. So that is triple damage. And we are going to block the damage back that he is doing with that attack. So that's where that goes. Then we'll use this card for the movement. And we are going to move our Sork. And then we will do our 1 range attack to the last point of damage for this guy, which defeats him. So we're going to get a dust for that and another item card. She gets a dust back. Man, I wish there was a dust gaining item card currently. We have a lot of swords and another card that has a little bit of flexibility, which is movement, shield, or sword. I just don't feel like we're like struggling on damage right now, so I don't know if like just stockpiling that is really worth it. So I think we're going to add another gauntlet to our deck, which is going to go on the top of our draw pile. And ooh, it looks like we have a double movement or teleport range attack. That's pretty sweet. And the last card here we're going to use to acquire a dust. So we're going to do that on the Sork because I am going to roll a 6 on my soldier at the focusing lens location and get 4 dust. Guaranteed. Okay, that's a 2. So we're just going to move on and not talk about it. So we get absolutely nothing. And yeah, we're not going to lay a trap. I think we're okay there. All right, so we got another event. Each hero loses 1 toughness. Shock. That's not bad. We're healthy. Okay. Then we're going to go ahead and draw our cards. So I think we could try to move the comet over to spot 6 to try to get over to the observatory and knock that out. Probably our best bet because Astronomer's all the way on the other side of the map. So even just trying to cycle the deck right now, it would take a while for us to get over there. There's just not much we can do right now because there's just not a lot going on. We're just killing everything as soon as they come out. So we could use our free heal, and we do have a triple movement for him. But is there any reason? Are we that urgent? So let's go ahead and acquire dust on him. And we will go ahead. We could move. So I'm gonna, before we do this, I'm gonna roll the dice on the soldier again because it's a new turn. We rolled a 5, so he gets 3 dust back. So he is full now. That is fantastic. Man, I really do want to go to the Astronomer. I don't have enough movement yet. So we will do double movement here. 1, 2. And we have a bunch of swords and shield. Unfortunately, we do not have a 3rd card to discard 3 and do one of our free basic actions here. And we don't really have any use for these, so these are just going to kind of go to waste. And we are going to use 3 dust to get rid of this dark out token. So now we can use this location again to acquire fairies. I feel like we're just doing things on the side because we're kind of out of things to do. Oh, so we got the red sun, which needs to be in spot 1. And for that, we need to spend a dust and a sword in order to observe it. We're making progress. So we should be able to easily do that. Hopefully. Oh. Bless you, Jupy. Man, I have like so many different like varying opinions of this game because I feel like when puzzles are going and things are flowing, it's a lot of fun, but I keep getting into these moments where there's just a lot of like waiting. Like I am destroying monsters the moment they come out, and the only way I can win is waiting for these moons to get drawn from this deck of 30 cards. And a part of me just can't help but think, I wonder if this would be harder with 2 actual players where you have your own decks. Because it says on the back, and I feel like part of what makes this game feel so easy in a solo environment, at least, is when you're setting up your deck, you're picking 2 heroes and their 2 base decks, and you choose 10 cards from the 20 available to make a single deck of 10. Now, why that's broken is every character has 10 cards, and 5 of them, I don't know if it's exactly 5, but I'd say about half of their starting deck is basic cards that have one thing. Like, you can do a sword attack, or you can do a movement, or you can do a shield, or get a dust or something. So it is a card that does one thing and one thing only. So it's kind of like, it's a very weak card, and it's intended to be weak, especially when you're starting, until you kind of build it up a little bit. But when you're playing solo, you pick any 10 cards out of those 20. So I choose all of the cards that have multiple options. Like, it'll be a card that lets you move or attack, range attack or dust or something like that. So all of my 10 starting cards have multiple options, which allows me to kind of freely do almost anything I want to do. Where like I feel like if I'm playing my character, like one character starter deck, I'm gonna have those like 5 cards that do one thing, and it may not be the thing I need to do that turn, which makes monsters pile up a little bit, and it gets a little frantic and a little crazy. But I just don't like I think if this restricted you from picking only cards that have double use and made you use some of those single use cards, I feel like it would be a lot more balanced. I just feel really, really broken. And I feel like I keep getting to these positions where like I'm way ahead, and anytime a monster comes out, I just destroy it. And like it doesn't really have a chance to push and kind of cause chaos too much. So that's my kind of just a thought as I'm playing. I think that is maybe just like a little bit of an oversight for solo play, where, you know, I'm typically not really a solo player till recently. I'm kind of trying to dip my toes into that way of playing games, because I want to get like more games out on the table and maybe experience it a different kind of way. And I am seeing like varying levels of maybe like polish or balance when it comes to solo versus like multiple people. I really do think, like, just spitballing it in my head, I really do think this would be harder with multiple players. Yeah, let's just do a 2-player round to find out. I totally agree. I totally agree. I would love to do that. But I think that's what makes me feel like I'm, and both your characters can use a location, where typically if it's a single player, they can only use the location that their character's at. I guess technically you could move and use another one. So maybe that part is not as bad. But yeah. So our goal here is if we can get to the observatory and we have a dust and a sword available, we can observe the red sun. So we don't have a sword. But we do have our draw. So we are going to spend, and this is kind of another example of that balancing act that I'm talking about. I have 2 characters with 2 different sets of spirit, and because I'm playing both characters every turn, I get to play the card for a character regardless. Like, I get to choose. So I technically have like 2 pools of dust, and maybe I'm hoping I'm like doing this wrong to some extent, which may explain some things. But I could use the dust on him, like if this character needed the dust to go elsewhere, and now I can draw 2 instead of 1. And we did get a sword, which is what we were hoping for. And now that I use this character to draw more, I can now use this character to complete the objective. Just very powerful. It's very strong to have that liberty to kind of just bounce between both characters whenever you want. So we will move 1. And we're going to spend a dust and a sword. And it says, observe a moon. If you fulfill its conditions and pay its cost, take 1 fairy. So it is in location 1. And I have both of the items needed, so I will expend both of those, and I now complete the red moon. I really like the artwork of these. So that is our first of 6 moons completed. Hopefully those start to cycle out a little bit more. I am going to use that to acquire a dust, and we are going to get our character over to the astronomer to try to control the deck cycling a little bit more. And we got rid of the Mind Eater. I believe that's what that guy was called already. So now, or Magic Eater, sorry. Now we have a lot more opportunity to control the deck and get our planets out, or get our moons out, to try to, you know, finish that main objective there. So we're going to use this last card. we could move over, but we're just going to heal. We're going to take the opportunity to heal. We're going to heal our soldier up. And then the ranged card, we have nothing to attack. So we are going to let that one go. Now, we do have the triple movement for our soldier here, so it does give us that option to rush him over if we feel necessary. And then she does have the free heal, which we're kind of chilling on right now because there's no urgency. There's not in, like, any risk of dying. All right, so we drew the Bloodsucker. He retaliates for 2 if you attack with a sword. He has 3 health, and his reward is a dust and an item card. Okay. Let's go ahead and draw our 5. Welcome, everybody. Alrighty. So, we can just go to try to nuke that guy as quickly as possible. We don't have a way of acquiring another dust on this character this turn, which is unfortunate, because we are 1 short of being able to use the Astronomer location. But that is okay. So we will just go for the triple sword. It's not going to block any of the damage, which is good. We can block 1 of the retaliation damage it's going to do back to us. So this triple is going to kill it. And then for the 1 damage that we would take, we will take that damage. And then we're going to go ahead and use our little potion vial here to heal that damage back up. So that is going to get us a dust on him and another item card, of which we are going to get the movement / teleport for more map flexibility. Last card is a range attack, can't do anything with it, so that one is gone. Go ahead and draw this guy. Okay, we got a new event. Elven Paths. Place the large portal between spaces 3 and 4 on the hero path. Okay, so that's going to be this one. So now we're playing with portals. That's between 3 and 4. Okay. And then place the 2 smaller portals on spaces 1 and 7. Now I wonder if this is going to be optional or how this is going to work. Okay, so that doesn't say anything else outside of where to lay those portals down. So I'm sure the chapter instructions has a little bit more. Okay. And 7, so that each small portal color matches the corresponding side of the large portal. Oh, I didn't see this large one has different colors on either side. That's cool. So the blue connects to the blue, yellow connects to the yellow. A hero who moves from space 3 to space 4, passing through the large portal, instantly moves instead to space 7. Similarly, a hero who moves from space 4 to 3 instantly moves instead to space 1. If a hero moves onto space 1 or 7, the small portal there has no effect. The portal effect is one way, only from the center of the map. That's actually really cool. So, whenever we touch these smaller portals, it doesn't do anything. But whenever we walk through this large one, it teleports. It's not optional. It's not something you get to choose to do. It's something you have to do. So it can be a nuisance, and it also can be very beneficial. Kind of a cool twist. Like there's pros and cons to it. All right. We go ahead and draw our 5. See where this takes us. All right, there's our 5th card. Alrighty. So, right off the bat, let's go ahead and get a dust on our Sork. We are going to do a movement over to the Astronomer. Sword and Shield. Once again, pretty useless. We do have another dust, so I think we might as well just acquire that, because we're not going to be using the shield. That's a dud. And we will spend 4 to use the Astronomer location again. That reveals the top 2 cards of this deck, and I can put them back in any order I want, top or bottom. Oh my god. We have 2 moons coming back to back. And now we know one of them's going to need 4 dust when you're observing it, and then the other one's going to need 2 movement. So we can kind of plan ahead for that. That is awesome. Yes. All right, so we'll go ahead and use our double movement. I don't know if we need to use both. Maybe we keep that character there. This is be 1, 2. Star map lets us move it around. And he has 4, so that might be the move. Yeah, that is kind of annoying. So, oh, I mean, that's not too bad. He will get teleported here. And then he has to move too. Yeah, that is a little bit of a nuisance. But he does have the triple movement. Swap 2 cards or move one card. Yeah. So I think what we're gonna do here is we are gonna spend our 4 dust on this guy. So this tile is gonna go on top of the deck because it's the first time we're using it. And we are going to move our Dancing Comet to spot 6 where it needs to be for us to complete the observation. And we will shoot to possibly do that next turn using his triple movement to get over there. But we'll leave him there for now, just in case a monster comes out or something. Well, we know a monster is not coming out, but just in case he needs to do something else. We'll kind of see what happens here. Because I don't know what this guy is going to do. Ah, see? This changes a lot. Actually, I lie. It changes almost nothing. Because this is going to swap location 2 and 4. But 2 and 4, neither of those are essential. So 2 is going to be our Master of Traps location. And then 4 is going to be our Fairy location. 2 of which are not super important right now. So that didn't really do too much. Oh, forgot to replenish the market. Ooh! The dust item came out, which is fantastic. Okay, so we did that. So now we're going to pull the top card. We know it's going to be the Umber Worm. I'll show you this one again. Like, once again, the art on these cards is fantastic. I love it. That one's going to require 4 dust when observing in order to complete it, and it has to be in spot 5. All right. We're making good progress here. Now, the tricky part with this one is if that deck runs out, I lose the game, but I also need all of the moons to come out. So that's where the Astronomer location is extremely important, because if I'm not manipulating those and putting a lot of the bad cards on the bottom, there's a chance that that final card could be the moon or a moon. And I don't know if you immediately lose. I think it may be like when the next card drawn happens and there's no cards available, you lose. But it would make it a lot tighter versus preemptively adjusting the deck throughout the game in order to get yourself in a better position. All right, so we do have a draw. That one we just need to all be there. So I'm going to move the Sork over 1. I do have 2 movement here. That would be 1, 2. He would be 1 short. So I think we're going to do his triple movement. So that'll go 1, teleport here, 2, 3. We are going to use one of these heals to get our Sork back to full health. We have nothing to range attack. Reason to move. We could draw. Or we could discard all 3 and just get a dust. I think that's a better option. I think we're going to discard these 3. We could also move. And it's kind of tough. Wiring a dust. Nah, we're gonna do this. We're not gonna discard these. We are gonna draw 1. which is a bunch of range attack, which is not helpful. So that wasn't super great, but we're going to use that movement. So we are going to go ahead and use the observe location before we do the final movement. And for this one, you need to have your entire party at the observatory when you're observing it in spot number 6, which we did. So we are good on the Dancing Comet Moon. That is done. So we are 2 down out of 6. And then we're going to use that final movement. And we move him. Yeah, because she has the teleport. So we're going to move him 1 over. Now when he moves, he'll teleport to spot 1, which will let us do the focusing lens. It's pretty nice. What was the die control thing that we had? Oh, that's okay. So when you observe a moon, if you fill its conditions and pay its costs, you take 1 fairy. And it did say for that particular one, both players get a fairy. So I am going to do that. I'm going to get the dice rolling manipulation for the soldier. So when he goes to the first location here, let me make sure that's hopefully focusing up a little bit. But yeah, when he goes to the first location where you have to roll the die to see how much dust you acquire, I can force that to be a 6. And that will allow him to get 4 dust guaranteed. I don't know. Sometimes this auto-focusing has some difficulty. There we go. Sorry about that. So, yeah, we're going to give him that one. And we could go for the heal, because I don't really want to skip the enemy turn. Like, in other scenarios, that might be great, but we kind of don't want to do that here. I don't know if these replenish. Let me double check to see if these replenish as you are acquiring fairies. Because then I could have gotten the triple dust fairy instead of the heal. Okay, take a fairy. After you take each one, replenish the market. Okay. Okay, so we're going to do a little bit of pulling back here. So this one was the next one on the pile. So this one would have came out over here. We're going to choose to take the triple dust fairy instead, and then the like serpent snake thing would have come out next, which looks like it lets us look at the top 2 cards of the game deck as well, which is same as Astronomer, so that could also be very, very helpful. Okay. Gonna be our turn there. Okay, so we got our 5. Let's go ahead and draw from here. And we got the Silver Lady, another moon. Okay, so that needs to be in spot 4, and we need 2 movement in order to complete that. All right, fantastic. See our cards. Okay. We're going to go ahead and use our fancy shiny holographic card here to move our character through the portal at location 1. We are going to use focusing lens, but we are going to use our trusty fairy here that lets us manipulate the die to whatever number we want. And of course, we are going to choose 6, which gives us 4 dust. So he is now at max dust, which is great. Okay. We're going to have to move some things around in order to actually look at these moons. We do have a movement. Move him over. We have another movement here. These cards, these 2 are going to be duds. So we are going to go ahead and use 4 for star map. And we're going to move this guy over to number 5. Do we want to do that one? No, I think we're going to move this guy over to number 4, because that one's going to be a lot more feasible to complete. And then we're also going to use our cute little like fox fairy, which lets us get 3 dust. So our Sork is back to 4. Which makes me feel like I should have moved the other one over. But that's okay. We can do them one by one. That is going to be our turn. Draw, and there is another moon. That one you just need a heal. And it has to be in slot 3. Not bad. Let's see. Ooh. Oh, hell yeah, babe. I like that kind of like flow, like transition, like selling the modding collection and then being able to buy the grinder for you know, your new interest. I think that's like a cool way of doing it. Thanks, babe. I appreciate that. Okay, let me go ahead and shuffle this ahead of time. All right. We're getting close here. So we have 2 done. There's 3 out. We only need 1 more. And knowing my fantastic shuffling job, it may be coming out next. Because I did not shuffle it super well. You did it the responsible way. Heck yeah. Yeah, I'm not as hopeful that someone's going to be interested in the board games I'm trying to sell, but I would love to be able to sell those and acquire ones that I'm interested in. I'm kind of using that as like a little bit of a gate. So I'm hoping someone shows some interest. Even just like I'm willing to, you know, work with them, because I don't want it to sit there forever. Okay, so I am drawing 5 now because we did get another moon. That was the game deck draw that we had. And get a lot going on here. So we are going to acquire dust. The teleport double use, like, I guess focusing lens would be the best bet for that. The most useful. Okay. And then we're going to use the observatory, which we're going to do number 4, Silver Lady, and we're going to use both of the feet on these cards. So 2 movement. Silver Lady is now complete. So now we have 3 moons completed. And then we also acquire a fairy for that. So let me do that before I forget. And I believe this one also lets us look at the top 2 cards of the deck. I will verify that because that is helpful. It's very helpful right now for what we are trying to do. Reveal the top 2 cards of the game deck and then put them back on top in either order. Okay, so you can't put them on the bottom, but you can adjust the order on top. So that is also great. So we will use that one as well. Get a look at these 2. We're hoping for that last moon, and there it is. Uradar. You need a dust and a shield, so we're going to put that on top of the deck, because that is the last thing we need in order to complete our objective. Of course, it has to be in the right location, but it gets us in a step in the right direction. We are then going to use 1 dust to do the special effect on our ring, and that's going to allow for the double draw. And we're just kind of hoping for dust here. Like we have a lot of like weapons, swords. It's nothing to attack, so once again, just duds. But now we have triple cards, so we can discard all 3 in order to do a basic action. Ooh, let's see. Probably a movement. Astronomer. At this point, we're just trying to move things around. So, you know what? No, he's going to stay at Star Map. Or should he? Or maybe I should get him to focusing for the focusing lens. That way he can get some more dust so he can adjust these better. But yeah, I'm just gonna move him over 1. And that's gonna be the end of our turn. All right, and now this is a lot of a kind of a little bit of a waiting game. Are you going to show all of the scenarios? Yeah, I think so. So there's not a ton in the game, so it's not like a very overwhelming task. I believe there are 5 main scenarios. Yep. So there's only 5 chapters. So yeah, the goal is we're going to play through all of them at least once. I don't know if all of the playthroughs are going to be solo. We may have, depending on if we stream it or not, I'm not 100% sure yet, but we may have a couple co-op sessions when Amber is also home and available to play. We do want to try it co-op. But yeah, I think we'll definitely give all 5 chapters a go. And I'd say probably most of them will be solo, and then maybe we'll have like 1 or 2 co-op playthroughs mixed in there as well. Okay, so we drew our 5. We're going to go ahead and pull the last card from the game deck. So we did get our final moon, which is going to shift all these over. This one needs to be in location 2 with a dust and a shield. This one needs to be in location 3 with a heart. And that one needs to be in location 5 with 4 dusts in order to complete those observations. So this is actually going to work out pretty well because most of them are going to shove over to the exact spot they need to be, which is awesome. So let's go ahead and do a movement on our soldier here. And then we're going to roll our die in order to use the focusing lens location, which unfortunately we rolled a 1. So he's going to lose a health. We do have range attacks on the ready for him as well if we end up needing to do so. Awesome. Thank you very much. Yeah, we are going to be doing a lot of other playthroughs as well. We are big like campaign style, and I mean we like all sorts of games. We have a decent sized collection as well, so we're going to be kind of bouncing around. But yeah, this is a new one, so we're going to be getting 5 chapters is not bad. We're probably going to try to get through all of them as quickly as possible, so we can start diving into some of the campaign style games and plethora of new games that we have showing up. We are going to be getting Primal later this month as well, which is looks like a pretty epic boss battler. So I would say expect some of that on the channel in the month of November, maybe early December. And then once we go to PAX Unplugged in December, I'm sure we're going to be acquiring a good amount of new games from that as well. And those will probably eventually show up on the channel too. But yeah, if you like the content, we do post a lot of stuff on Instagram as well. You can find us on there, just Twin Flame Adventures. And yeah, we show like videos of the table, the other games we play, things that we're playing throughout the week, on the weekend, and you know, stuff that we're ordering and excited about, and different things like that. Eventually reviews and more stuff. So thank you very much. Okay, so we did move, we did roll, and failed horribly, as we do. And there are currently no moons we can complete with the current locations. So I think I'm just going to use that to get a dust. And get a dust on this guy. We'll use this second one to get another dust for him. So we can get the star map location going, hopefully in a turn. And we do have double movement here. Is there any benefit for that at this point? We could move twice and have her roll. Oh my god, I just had the best idea. Okay, so we're gonna do the double movement. So we're gonna move over to spot 4, then we're gonna go through the portal. So we're also in spot 1 now with the Sork. Sword and Shield's a dud, so we're not gonna do anything with that card. But yes, I think we have an idea here. So I'm going to go ahead and roll the die for focusing lens on that character. Oh, you know what? So that is a rule that might be a little bit restrictive. So it says, I think it says once per character. Like each character can use the location one time. I wonder if that's once per player. Like each location can be used once on a turn, because that would restrict me from doing it on multiple characters, which is very important to know. Let's see. Use your hero's current location. You can use each location only once in a turn. Okay, so this is a turn, so I can't use that again. Okay, that is important to know. I've never used the same location twice previously, but it never came up as a situation where I was, I guess, trying to do that or interested in doing that. So that's good to know. All right, cool. All right. And then we're going to go ahead and draw this guy. So we drew spiders. This thing has 3 health. It rewards nothing, and it has no special effects. So it kind of just exists. So all of the moons are going to shift down, which means now we have 2 moons in their right locations. And if we can use the observatory, we can knock those out. We're going to go ahead and draw 5. 4, shuffle, get last one. For number 3, we need a heal. And for number 2, we need a dust and a shield. So I'm really hoping we draw both of those, because we've been holding on to a fairy that is going to be perfect for this scenario. We actually do have a heal, now that I'm looking, on our special track that we picked. So we should be able to use that as well if we don't draw a heal, which is the one thing I guess I'm more nervous about than the other 2. Oh, we got a heal, and we got a sword and shield. Or I'm sorry, we need a dust and shield. Oof, we did not get a dust. Well, that's just acquiring, so that's just spending from here. So we're actually good. We are good. We don't need a dust card. We just need a dust to spend. So we're actually perfect. So what we're gonna do is there anything to spend my dust on before I do my great plan? We could get a fairy, or we could draw 2 more cards. And the fairy choices are not really doing anything special for us. Yeah, like there's more we could do, but it's kind of unnecessary when I look at what we have available to us right now. Let me make... Okay. We do want our dust. Okay, so we're just going to roll the die. We are going to roll the die for... Which character? Which character? Let's do it for the soldier. We rolled a 4, which gets us 2 dust. So he is now max. Awesome. And then we are going to use our other fairy here that we have had for quite some time. This one lets us teleport to any spot on the map and use the location twice, which is something you normally cannot do. So she's going to teleport to the observatory. I also just realized I never pulled this off when I used the observatory, so that should have happened. That was a mistake. But yeah, I get to use the observatory twice now. So we are going to use that for the heal, and that is going to go ahead and get rid of the Aventurine Shard Moon. That's another one down. We have 3 completed now. And then we're going to use the we're going to get a fairy for doing that. I guess we'll grab the skip turn fairy. I don't really know what else to do. Replenish. Ooh, I think that one lets us swap. I think it lets you swap characters. That's pretty cool. So then we're going to use the observatory a second time because of our fairy. And we are going to spend a dust and spend a shield in order to complete moon number 2. Both of them were in the correct spots, and I was able to pay the cost. And the artwork is awesome. I think we're gonna get another light behind me, so this is a little bit easier to see. I think I'm gonna play around with that maybe tomorrow. So now we have 1 moon left in order to end the game. We have a lot of attacks here. There's just no point to killing the spider. Like, I'm just gonna let the spider live. The spider's doing nothing to me. He's not hitting me. He's just there. He's just hanging out. So I'm gonna discard all 3 of those in order to acquire dust. So now our character has 4 dust, which is needed for the last moon, but we need to get it to location 5. Now, the only downside with this turn is, let's go ahead and flip this guy over first. Oh, so this storm token would have made everyone lose a health or force another card to come out of the deck, which could have been very helpful when we were looking for moons, but it's kind of useless right now. So I think we're all just going to take a damage, because that doesn't really do anything to us at this point. And even if we would have drew an extra card, spider would have moved over 1, and then it would have moved over a second time. It still wouldn't have moved this moon over to the 5th slot, because it wouldn't have gotten that far. So we'll just take the damage. Then we're going to draw the actual card here, which was an event. We're going to roll the die and place a threat token next to the indicated space of the monster passage. So we got spot number 4, and it looks like teeth marks. So that would go there. It's not going to affect us at this point in the game, but that is what that event does. So no new cards are going to come out, which means what we're hoping for now is 2 movement. 3, 4, 5. That is all we need, and we win the game. And we got it. So we're going to use our double movement shiny portal card here, and we're going to move our guy over to the star map. We're going to spend his 4 dust, where it allows you to either swap 2 cards or move a card to an empty space. We are going to move our Umber Worm Moon, last one, to spot 5, which is the correct location. And then we are going to use the observatory on our sorcerer to observe the Umber Worm, spend the 4 dust on that character in order to complete the observation, which is our last moon. We would get a fairy for that. Not really. Don't need to really grab it here, because that is the end of the game. But yes, that is scenario 2. So for those that are watching that may not know, let me grab this guy. This is Dungeon Legends by Rebel Studios. I believe this only recently came out. Let's do... see here. There we go. Whoa, it's like warping my face. That was interesting. Might be getting a little hot on the camera there, but yes. This is Dungeon Legends by Rebel Studios. This recently came out. It is in the Avil universe. I have not played the other Avil games, so this is my first game in this world. Yeah, it actually has Avil universe on the bottom there at the front. But yeah, this is their take on, I guess, more of a dungeon exploring experience. This is my second time playing it. Both scenarios that I've done so far have been difficulties 2 of 5. And my personal kind of opinion, I guess, so far is 2 of 5 is very easy. I have not really had any moments in either of the games that I've played so far of like any kind of like real immediate danger or like high stakes or kind of having to make tough decisions. A lot of the times I feel like I get to points where I have a lot of extra cards to use and nothing to really use them on. So yeah, I don't know how much of that is just solo play not being as balanced. I hope to get a co-op playthrough going as well, so I can kind of judge that a little bit better. But I do enjoy the puzzle. I do enjoy the interactions with the different locations and rolling dice and events coming out. I feel like all of that feels good, but it's just very easy. And maybe I guess the audience they're targeting, maybe it's not someone that plays like larger style campaign games that have a lot more strategy, a lot more customization and things like that. Like maybe I'm just not the audience for this style or this level of difficulty. I'm hoping the later chapters are really, the difficulty really steps up when you get to like 4 of 5 and 5 of 5. And I feel like I'm making tough decisions. As of right now, I feel like the decisions are pretty obvious, and I have more than I would ever need in order to complete those tasks. So yeah, that is kind of my take on this game so far. 2 scenarios in. We are going to go through and play all 5 of them. And by the time I finish all 5, I'm going to give my kind of full review of the game and my thoughts, the whole way through, and who I think this may be a good fit for. But yeah, that's going to be it for today. We'll just swap back over to the board quick. And yeah, the other thing I'll mention is all of the chapters and all of the characters have these boxes that you have to put together when you get the game, which helps organize it. It's very easy to take out whenever you need things. Very easy to put away as well. And yeah, the table presence I think is beautiful. I love the artwork in the game. I like the really nice neoprene mat that they give you with the game as well. This isn't the deluxe version or anything fancy. This is just the base one. And yeah, so I guess I'll just continue, and when I'm fully finished with the game, I'll give you my final thoughts. But I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you come back, and any of these live streams, any of these playthroughs that we do are going to be posted on the channel as well. So if you don't catch them while we're live because of time zone differences or you're busy, these will be available for you to watch. And we do plan on adding some timestamps to kind of separate ending, intro, where I'm kind of explaining some of the game, and then just kind of the gameplay section of it as well. But yeah, hope you enjoyed, and I'll catch you guys on the next stream. Have a good night.